It's another London derby, Chelsea-West Ham, in what is a massive game in our bid for survival this season. A couple of weeks ago, we went to Tottenham. We got a massive win. We picked up 3 valuable points. Can we do it again? Can we go to West London this time and pick up another 3 points in what would really throw the cat amongst the pigeons in the relegation race? Or the bid for survival, I should say. Now, Chelsea have been going well. They've been playing some really good football since Rosenior took over. Another win in midweek in Naples, which was a really sort of back-to-front, end-to-end game. And they got a massive win, which qualified them for the Champions League. And they've been doing well since Rosenior come in. He's got them playing some really attacking, attractive football. They've been going for man all over the pitch, which Jamie Carragher covered on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago. And it was really interesting to see how aggressive they are being with this sort of man-to-man approach. It is almost Bielsa-like, which is how he explained it. And, you see the centre-half, I think it was Fofana on that occasion, going in, if an opposition striker is going deep inside his own half, the centre-back is instructed to follow him and follow him all the way, which is quite unusual. Cucurella was told to do the same, follow a winger, inside the pitch and looks uncomfortable doing so. But that's the way he wants to play, and it is an aggressive way of stopping a team creating chances, stopping a team scoring. But I do think it does mean there is a chance if you play particularly quite direct, and you look to the space that they're vacating when they're going into this man-to-man marking system. You can really cause them problems. I'm hoping that we can do the same. Obviously, Napoli scored 2 goals in midweek, so they're definitely vulnerable at the back. They always have been, because for me, as good as a squad as they've got, they've still not got a top centre half for me and a goalkeeper, which I'll come on to in terms of their transfer policy. But yeah, other than that, they are going well. They've picked up quite a few wins. I think the only game they lost was Arsenal in the League Cup, which is obviously a difficult game in itself. I think the return leg of that is next week, so it'll be interesting the kind of team that he goes for. He's obviously had a midweek game just gone against Napoli, another one on the horizon against Arsenal in a semi-final. So maybe he'll rotate the squad around, but that doesn't really give me any sort of optimism, because they've got such a good squad, Chelsea. They've got a real good roster of players available, and they've spent a lot of money to do so. But onto that, that is where I think Chelsea is quite chaotic at the moment. Obviously, Chelsea fans will know a lot better than I do, but it feels like the project of Chelsea in terms of the ownership is more off the pitch than on it. Whereas under Abramovich, it felt the opposite. It felt like the idea behind the Abramovich era was to win and win at all costs. Even managers that were successful, big names like Ancelotti, as soon as they weren't winning, they were out the door. Players that had previously done well, as soon as they weren't performing, they were out the door. That's kind of flipped on its head now. It kind of feels like it's more buying players to sell them on at high value. You get buying players and putting them on these ridiculously long contracts. It just feels like a project that's mainly in the boardroom rather than on the football pitch. And I do think for all the money they've spent, as I alluded to before, they've still not, for me, really gone and solved that goalkeeping position. Now, I think Sanchez is having an okay season, but I do think they are going to come unstuck in that position, in games towards the end of the season. I do think they still need a top goalkeeper and centre half. Again, I know they've got a lot of talent and talented young players at the back. Still think they lack that experience. Obviously, a few years ago, they had Thiago Silva, and he made a big difference. They haven't really replaced him in terms of that experience, that know-how, and that's why I feel like they're vulnerable. They're a very good side, make that known, but it is. I do think they are quite vulnerable to conceding chances and hopefully goals. So we'll see how we cope with that this weekend. On to West Ham then. This is a massive opportunity, really. Is it a free hit? No, I don't think we have any free hits left because of how dire our situation is. But it kind of is more towards that in the fact that it is a game we're probably not expecting to win. We're not expecting to pick up any points in. And I think other teams, our sort of relegation rivals, will not be expecting us to pick up any points. So that hopefully alleviates some pressure. We can go to Stamford Bridge in good form, in good confidence, building a bit of a way of playing, building a bit of momentum, and just go there and think, well, why can't we nick something from this game, either a point or a win? And if we were to win, which is a big if, and I'll come on to my prediction later, but it's a big if, that would really, as I said before, put the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of the rest of the relegation teams, because Leeds have Arsenal this weekend, so you'd expect Leeds not to win. They might pick up something again, like us. They in good form and they're playing well, so they might pick up a point. But you'd expect Arsenal to win. Forest and Palace play each other. Now, will Palace be really drawn into it? I'm not too sure, but they're obviously on a downward slope at the moment, Palace. And if they lose to Forest, obviously that's bad for us because Forest will go through, get another 3 points, but it might just further draw Palace back in. And if we actually were to get a win on the Saturday, obviously that game on Sunday would be massive, and both Palace and Forest would be feeling it, and it'll be a really pressurised game, and it'd be interesting to see who would come out on top. And either way, one of them is going to lose, is going to drop points. So, or potentially both if they draw, obviously. Also, Spurs have City. Now, I don't think Spurs have there's any chance Spurs go down. I'll be honest, as much as I would love it, I don't think there's any chance Spurs get relegated this season. But for our belief, it's important that we keep teams in sort of in check with us. We're not too far away from them. Obviously, it's 5 points at the moment. If we win, and then we can close the gap on some of those teams. Obviously, Forest is the closest to us at the moment, but we want to pull in as many teams as possible because, like I say, for belief, that's important. You need to believe that you can still close that gap and chase them down. I think you've seen that with Burnley. That sort of belief has gone a little bit. They don't feel like they can chase them down, and even though they're playing well, they're not grinding out results, and that might be a part of it. In terms of the game, though, I hope and I expect us to play the same team. I expect Nuno to make no changes. For the Sunderland game, I actually said I would have brought Potts in, and I think I was wrong in that. I think Souček started. He went with the same team, and Souček played okay, played pretty well. And we obviously, as a team, played really well. So I'm glad Nuno didn't change it. And I hope he doesn't change it for this game. Obviously, it's a tougher game. It's away from home against one of the big sides. So there will be the temptation from Nuno to maybe add a more defensive option in. I really hope he doesn't, because what has been good about us the last couple of weeks is that's the system that we're playing. The fact that we're working from the front, we're working hard from the front. Those two strikers are putting pressure on the opposition defence, and that is allowing us to get up the pitch, create chances from turnovers. So I think if he changes that, we might lose some of that or a lot of that. And we might not have the same effect, and we might not be able to create the same amount of chances that we did at Tottenham, particularly in that first half, and that we did against Sunderland in that first half again. So I really hope Nuno keeps the same team. I think it's been working well. We're working as a team. We're working as a unit. We look like we're fighting for each other. So why change that? I really don't expect him to change it. And then obviously you've got Adama on the bench. Adama Traore joined this week. And he'll give us something that we don't have on the bench. We've lacked a bit of pace. We've lacked an option going forward, apart from Callum Wilson. So being able to bring a Traore and a Wilson on in the sort of 65th, 70th minute, particularly if it's a level or heaven forbid we're winning 1-0, I mean, that would be a great position to be able to bring Adama Traore onto the pitch. And yeah, I think it gives us an option we've not had before. Whether he'll be a success at West Ham obviously remains to be seen. If anyone's going to get the best out of him, it would be Nuno. So I'm hopeful more than expectant on that. But yeah, I expect him to go with the same team. I hope he does. And I think it'll be really interesting to see how we play. Obviously, we went to Tottenham and played like that. Now, Tottenham are obviously in a much worse position than Chelsea and nowhere near as good a team. But that was a game that he was quite bold in and went for it a bit. And I hope he does that again. Because I think if we sit back and just try and counter, which obviously a lot of the game will be like that. Chelsea in possession, us in a low block, and then looking to counter. But if he wants to do that the whole game, much like we did against Arsenal at the Emirates, City at the Etihad, we'll just lose and we won't lay a glove on them. There's just no point doing that. We can't really be going into games like this anymore. So I almost hope we just go punch for punch. And like I say, with Rosinia's sort of attack-minded team, his man-to-man marking, it could be a really entertaining game, a bit end-to-end. And when it's like that, if it is a bit you shoot, we shoot, anything could happen. You could get a 2-2, a 3-2 on your hands. So having said that, in terms of my prediction for the game, I think we'll play well. I think we'll continue that sort of confidence going into this game. I think we'll provide Chelsea some problems. I think we score, But if I'm being completely honest and going with my head over my heart, I do think Chelsea score 2. And I think Chelsea slightly win. But I think we'll still take positives from the game. I think it will be 2-1 Chelsea. But I think we'll play well. We'll cause them problems. We might come away wishing that we'd maybe taken 1 or 2 chances and got a point. But I think we'll come away with some positives. Obviously, a loss at this stage of the season is not ideal, particularly if Forest then do go and beat Palace and we fall 8 points behind Forest. That would be a bad situation to be in, but that would mean Palace are still within touching distance as well. Again, if we can pick up some wins in the next few weeks. So that's what I'm going for, a 2-1 prediction, a 2-1 win for Chelsea, unfortunately. But I'm not sure on it. It could easily go either way. I think it could be a draw. I think West Ham could nick a win. I'm really unsure on this one. I think it's quite an unpredictable game. But let me know what you think. Do you think we'll win? Do you think we'll pick up 3 points? Do you think it will cause Chelsea problems? Maybe we'll pick up a point. Let me know what you think. Let me know what team selection you would go with. Would you keep it the same, or would you make a more defensive change? Let me know if you would make any changes to that starting 11. And yeah, let's hope for a big London derby win tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, and that would really set us up for the rest of the season. Come on, you Irons.